par l'aspiration, il devrait avoir l'avantage. Est-ce qu'on réussit? On se place à l'intérieur, on se touche!
On a été très patient.
Quelle lutte jusqu'à maintenant. Et là,
alors qu'on a un accrochage ici.
On va tenter de croiser, qui n'est pas le meilleur endroit pour dépasser. Oui! Incroyable!
Hello everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the EGT3 challenge, powered by EGT Canada. Join with me as always today, Alex Goldschmidt, and we're here at the Hungaroring in a very wet circuit today. How you doing, Alex?
Nathaniel, very, very good to be alongside you again for what's going to be the halfway point of the season. Hungaroring, one of those hidden gems created back in 1986 when Bernie Eccleston once was trying to get a race in Russia. Well, that didn't quite happen at that particular moment in time, but as you can see, the track is completely saturated here. We've got some great title fights coming up. I mean, Ismail Abrek has won 2 for 2 out of the opening round so far, which has shown him to be the tour de force, as they say, in the pro class. But the battle in silver between Johan Merci and Jeremy Delwatt and Jean-Luc Marchand, amongst others, including Danny Kvalet. We've got a great battle on our hands, but it was really funny. Myself and Julien Hebert, we were joking. He said, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a wet race. And I was like, oh, what a shame. Oh, a wet race, finally. But qualifying well underway, 16 minutes and 40 seconds still to go. But Mr. Jonathan Boivin has returned for this round of the championship, but I cannot see hide nor hair of our pro class leader, Mr. Ismail Abrek.
Yeah, I remember those two were battling out in round 1. Unfortunately, Jonathan Boivin wasn't there for round 2, and now it seems that Lebrec is missing a race. Well, at least he doesn't seem to be here. He hasn't arrived yet. So that's another turning point in our championship. Obviously, that's gonna bring those two a lot closer after this race if Ismail Labrec is not gonna be there. But don't forget Dubé, that with those two being absent, he's taking some points off of him. Dubé currently sitting as second in our championship standings with 26 points currently. So that may benefit him as we have our first time on the boards. So the driver's starting to have their laps in. Yeah, it's gonna be a very this round is gonna be very important for the championship. Obviously, for Boivin missing the second round, he's gonna want to do as much point as possible. If he can get that race win, he won't have a ballast. That's gonna be huge for him. He won't have any weight on his car because he wasn't there last race, and he was supposed to have 20 kilograms on his car last race. So he won't have that this race. So that's gonna be able to that's gonna benefit him surely, as Marc-Antoine Landry puts the first time the provisional pole right now, 153.9. So very tricky conditions out here currently, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, the track temperature is quite high anyway, 28 degrees Celsius, as on cue, Jonathan Boivin goes up to provisional pole by a whopping 1.4 seconds, and that's a 1:52.5, dead on the nose for the number 99 Honda NSX. As I think that was General de Guise getting a bit tail happy going through turn 1 and turn 1A. But the driver that was quickest in free practice was Patrick Fournier, who did a great job finishing second last time out when we were running at Kyle Army. But this is going to be a completely different proposition. You're going to need a car that's going to be stable in terms of the handling. It's a tricky circuit to overtake here at Kyle Army, and at the moment we have on our server, for those wondering, you can go to pitwall.live/timing/EGT-challenge to keep up with the live timing. But Boivin going 1.4 seconds ahead of Landry, quickest in, well, Dubé at that point goes to within 3.5 tenths. Danik Vele goes up to 11th position. But oh, now that's a bit of an interesting lap from Stéphane Thibodeau, who was up in 3rd place, now gets dumped down to 6th place, but still leading the silver class. Stéphane Thibodeau is currently 7th in the championship standings on 16 points, but there is your current provisional pole sitter with about 13 minutes left on the timer. Mr. Jonathan Boivin in the number 99 Honda NSX, very much the Braun Formula 1 tribute band out there. White car, black accents with all the carbon on the car, and then the bright yellow alloys as well to boot as he comes out of turn number 14. Now, does he improve on his lap time? No, that was a 1:53.4. So Boivin. Also, you can just see that for the next 20 minutes or half an hour or so, as we have got a brief yellow flag out there. Oh, right, that was a. I couldn't really.
Yeah, that was Trépanier. That was Patrick Trépanier. Gotta wonder what happened.
He just went off. He went off piste rather than on piste, as per the team name showing for that Honda NSX. So yeah, the tricky conditions are catching people out very, very much indeed.
As we see Dubé now going back to the pits. Now coming back to Boivin, see how he's using every bit of track he has at his disposition. You know, you saw him going just the extra half on the curb, and see he's using the curb here again, jumping his Honda on those orange curbs. He's using as much of the track as possible, and for now it's paying for him. He's sitting in provisional pole. Obviously, Dubé, great lap to put him second currently. Obviously, 11 minutes left to this qualifying session. Obviously, as more and more drivers do laps around this circuit, it's still raining pretty heavily, so it's not gonna dry up, but the circuit may have a bit of a line that will be quicker for drivers to take as this session advances, but it's still raining pretty heavily, so we will have to see about that as Dubé is finishing his lap, as Boivin, I mean. So we will see if he's improved, but yeah.
Well, we're coming towards the halfway point in the session, Boivin. We're going to see if there is an improvement, and there is, and it's a significant one.
What a smashing lap.
Yeah, 1 minute, he knocked that one out of the park, that's for damn sure. 1:51.767. Big thank you to Alain Lyon, saying that Ismail Labrec unable to make it tonight. And also a big development in the silver class. Second in the championship, Jeremy Deloitte has a steering wheel malfunction. So hopefully we'll have Jeremy back for round 4, which will take place on the 25th of October, and we'll be heading to the Glen, Watkins Glen. Also, there is some upcoming more action here on EGT Canada. We've got rounds 5 and 6 of the Porsche Carrera Cup Quebec in just 2 days' time. Then October the 18th, round 4 of the ETCR Sprint at Trois-Rivières. And then October 20th, Watkins Glen hosts round 4 of the ETCX Sprint Cup. So don't forget to keep your eyes peeled on the EGT Canada social medias. Yellow flag as we're halfway through the qualifying. Jeremy Schneider, it's been a bit of an up and down season for the number 67 McLaren. I mean, he's been up at the sharp end of the silver class, but for both opening rounds at Kota and at Kyle Army and at Kota, he has had no luck whatsoever. He's always been involved in an incident. I've got my fingers crossed, praying that the number 67 has a bit more of a better luck in these wet weather conditions, but we know that wet weather can really put the cat amongst the pigeons here, Nathaniel.
But as you see in this session, he's sitting currently in second place in the silver category. So he's a very quick driver in the silver category if if everything goes well for him. But as you said, he's got involved into some accidents. Coda didn't quite go well for him, but he's still battling in the upper part for most races. And right now he seems to be doing the same thing, sitting in second. We'll see if he improves this lap. Doesn't seem to be a good lap currently, but still a couple of corners to go. But yeah, definitely an important round for him. It's the third round out of 6 races in a season. So if he gets involved into again a unfavorable result, maybe you don't want that at that point, because it'll be a huge hill to climb for the remaining half of the season as he goes around the last corner. I believe he won't improve on this particular lap. No, he won't. Someone who's improving currently, Jean-Luc Marchand. Great lap from him last corner. We'll see if he improves to take another position. Seems to have lost some time a bit in the last section, and he won't improve. Right now we have a yellow flag at Scalalari. He went to the pits.
Yeah, it's funny you should mention Carl Alahi. He just jumped up to 13th position overall, 12th in the pro class. I don't think we've seen much of Carl so far of the opening 2 rounds, but for those wondering about the top 5 in the respective championships with 7.5 minutes to go in qualifying here at the Hungaroring, Ismail Abrek not here this evening, so that's going to give the likes of Laurence Toubé, who's in second on 26 points, David Boulanger in the Bentley, Marc-Antoine Landry, who hopefully will not crawl across the finish line like he did at Kyalami on the opening round of the season. He's 4th on 21 with Danny Baisden 21 as well. Tied on points, but keep your eyes on the likes of Boisvin and also Patrick Fournier, who are both tied on 20 points. Top 5 in silver, Johan Morancy leads the way on 31 points, just a point ahead of Jeremy Delwart, who's not with us tonight. So that's going to give the likes of Jean-Luc Marchand, Danny Cavalier, Mathieu Prudhomme, who ran at the top 5, covered by 11 points. Then added into that mix the likes of Jonathan Baudry and Stéphane Thibodeau, who could make their moves up into the top 5, depending on the outcome of this race. But for those folks wondering at home, yeah, this track is incredibly technical. As you can see that Laurence Toubé, coming out of turn number 11, had a bit of a moment in the Ferrari. I mean, you might have the biggest amount of torque in that particular car, 3.9 litre, twin-turbo V8. Mid-engined rear-wheel drive. There's a lot of power going through those rear wheels, and in these tricky conditions, Nathaniel, that is going to prove key. You're going to need that nice balance between brake and throttle modulation through the corners as Toubé comes out of turn number 14. Currently still running P2 at the moment on a 1 minute 52.717. He's got the gap down. He's got the gap down again. 1 minute 52.270, and he's just half a second behind Jonathan Boivin in the battle for overall pole position. But at the moment, the number 448, that's François Lapointe, in the Honda, has gone pole in silver. And as I say that, he goes back up to 8th, but Patrick Trepanier went up into 6th position, and they are changing all the times because Kevin Rassin up to 10th place now. That's 9th in the pro class, as we've got just over a quarter of this session to go. It's been pretty competitive out there at the moment, despite the wet weather conditions. I mean, the top 10 rounded out by Patrick Fournier in the Porsche, rounded out by just over 1.9 seconds, but we know that times for show points to go, and the race is going to be quite crucial tonight.
And obviously the wet is gonna bring out some time differences, obviously, but still, even if you look, apart from the top 2 are currently way far ahead from everyone else. You look from the 3rd position to 13th, it's about a second that separates them, so it's still very close. in the midfield, well, in the upper midfield, as we see Francois Lapointe going over the curb and getting loose a bit on the exit. So very tricky conditions, as you mentioned. But Francois Lapointe is putting in a great session currently, sitting in the provisional pole in the 9th place overall, with Thibodeau, his closest competitor, in 14th currently, second in silver obviously, but there's 4 cars in between them, so that's gonna be a challenge if Thibodeau doesn't improve. It's gonna, it's Tommy Landry that improves and takes second place in silver.
I think Boivin's just improved again, 1 minute 51.625. This circuit has been, well, this particular layout of the Hungaroring has been around for the best part of nearly 2 decades, in operation since 2003. Measures 4.381 kilometers, or over here in the United Kingdom, that's 2.722 miles, 14 turns. But yeah, Tommy Landry in the 917 Bentley, well, we're going to use his proper term because we're in the wet, it's the Boatley. As he makes his way through in towards the very fast left-hand kink in dry conditions in turn 4, now through the very tight right-hander. You know, the circumference through there, you can see that even the back end of the Bentley, which is one of the heaviest cars on the grid, is still struggling.
It did not want to bite there.
No, I mean, these curves are slick. You can see that back end is all over the shop. On the 917, and Landry is dropping down the order because Cloutier has just gone up into 12th position. That's the number 63 Mercedes. General de Guise now goes up into 16th overall. Marc-Antoine Landry goes P3 with a 1 minute 52.930. There is Mathieu Prudhomme, one of the top 5 in the silver class. Very, very brightly coloured McLaren 720S. I mean, that thing looks like it could glow in the dark.
It's a great livery, I must say, and with it he takes second place currently in silver. So in 14th place, Francois Lapointe dropped 1 position, sitting in 10th overall. Yeah, the battle for third currently is heating up with Marc-Antoine Landry in third, and Baisden, he's just half a tenth in front of Baisden, so very, very close between these two. And there's still 2 minutes remaining in this session. So Marc-Antoine Landry had a great race at Cora after having a not so great one at Kyalami, where he ran out of gas after he was involved in an accident earlier on. But he seems to be in great form tonight, and we'll see if he's able to get a podium this race. But there's an hour to go in the race for now, and there's still some time remaining in the qualifying session, but for now it seems to be going well, as Baisden is improving his lap as well. So it'll be interesting to see who gets to be third. Currently, Boivin, though, having just being incredibly quick once again. We know,
alien-esque from the number 99 Honda. But yeah, I'm keeping my eyes. I mean, Landry now comes out of turn number 14 on board with the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Same mechanical underpinnings as the Audi R8 V10. As Landry, yeah, he was 6/100ths off. Danny Baisden's now coming through what will be turn number 13, but you can see there's 2 tight hairpins, one with a bit more of a circumference here, and this is where you're going to really be able to get out of the final corner and really get a good slingshot, because it's a very long start-finish straight. The run down to turn 1 is incredibly long, so we could see people miss their braking points on the race start, but we're into the final 30 seconds. Danny Baisden, that particular occasion, sets a personal best, remains in P3 as he goes through turns 1 and the first time on this calendar we've got a turn 1A, so it's a slight kink coming out of turn 1, which is a very tight hairpin, as the timer now counting down for time qualifying, and there we go. It strikes 0 as the clock, so the 20 minutes are up. Boulanger will be 11th. But the impressive thing in terms of the silver classification, Francois Lapointe, about what is that, a 10th quicker than Danick Vallet in the number 1 Audi in the battle for pole position. Trepanier, Bourdon, they'll be running 9th and 5th respectively after time qualifying as Boivin comes out of the final corner. Are we going to see an impressive improvement
He's
by our pole
improving.
man?
He's improving. Yeah.
But he's not. That was not. Well,
Well,
he did.
yeah,
1 minute. He
he's-
went quick by nearly 2/10. So Boivin again. Well, just like he did at Kyle Army, he put it on pole, and he's done it again here in the wet at Hungaroring. The track temperature has increased by a single degree, as we're seeing Danny Baisden coming through turn 12 for the final time. Guillaume Mador coming out of the final corner in the number 111 Audi remains in 8th position.
Baisden backed out on his lap. We're going to see Thibodeau running out the final corner. And he's going to the pits. So that's got to be qualifying over. Yeah, great session. Not too many accidents we've seen, even in those conditions, and it's still raining pretty heavily, as we see. So very impressive from this grid. As we have the qualifying results here in front, so it's gonna be Jonathan Boivin on pole position in his Honda NSX number 99, smashing all 3 sectors with an incredible lap. 8/10 in front of Dubé in 2nd place. Baisden in 3rd place with Marc-Antoine Landry in 4th. Bourdon in 5th. Michaud in 6th. Patrick Fournier is in 7th. Patrick Fournier has a ballast of 20 kilograms, as does Marc-Antoine Landry, finishing 3rd last race, has a ballast of 10 kilograms. Guillaume Mador 8th, Formato 9th, and Trepanier 10th. We're going to see our silver class right now, Alex.
Yep, so it is the 448 of François Lapointe taking pole in the silver class by 98 thousandths. Danny Vele, who finished P3 last time out, will have 10 kilos of ballast. He will start down in 14th on the grid. And Stéphane Thibodeau in 3rd. Mathieu Prudhomme, who actually won the silver, he was 2nd last time out at Cota, and then Jean-Luc Marchand in the number 14 Lexus will run at the top 5 ahead of Jeremy Schneider. Then we got Tommy Landry, and then our points leader, Johan Morancy, and then Jonathan Baudry running at the top 10 with 18 cars. But also we have to give a shout out because we are 4 minutes away from getting the race session. It's going to be a full formation lap of this 4.381 kilometer circuit. We have to give a shout out to the likes of Thomas Lavoie and Eric Bourdos, along with Alain Léon, co-owner of EGT Canada. They were quite recently, they travelled to the ROG Invitational and represented EGT Canada. And it was part of the special events that SRO Esports have been hosting, and that was during the 8 hours of Indianapolis. Also, there were quite a few other drivers, including likes of Christopher Adré Bourdon. They were competing against the likes of Cameron Martino, who races for, if anyone might know, Samantha Tan, was running with that team. And Cameron is also running in an EGT Canada Championship, which is actually in the Porsche Carrera Cup Quebec, which you'll be able to catch up, folks, in just a couple of days' time for rounds 5 and 6, and they'll be here at this very circuit as well. And great to see that Red Bull Canada was supplying our troops in Indianapolis with welcome refreshment too.
It's an absolutely unbelievable experience for these guys to be able to be invited to the ROG Invitational, and I believe EGT Motorsport with Lavoie and Bourdua had a great result in the race, I believe, too, finishing 6th and 7th respectively, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they were the only Porsche representatives as well, which was good to see. So, you know, it's always nice. Track temperature has increased, however, because now we've gone to damp. And now I'm going to come to a point that you were saying, Patrick, to Nathaniel, that we could see a little bit of a mixed strategy call, because with it being being damp with 2 minutes to go until the formation lap. This is where we could see a definitive dry line starting to appear. Then, of course, we have the pit stops. And what that means is that the drivers can mandatorily take their pit stop at any point during the race. You can see on the right-hand side of your screens the handicap, which are the top 3 penalties. So Labrec would have had a 30-kilo ballast, and he started tonight. No ballast for Jonathan Boivin, so he's probably more than likely, if he gets a good start, and if Dubé tries to get alongside him but can't get through, then Boivin could be in a class of his own. But then it's the battle for silver with Danick Vellet, François Lapointe, Stéphane Thibaudeau, Mathieu Prudhomme, Jean-Luc Marchand. I'm hoping that Jeremy Schneider is going to have a good run tonight. But yeah, the track temperature is increasing. That could be a very, very promising sign, because on the cars on our screen at the moment, folks, there are no windscreen wipers being used yet.
And the track being more damp, it's less wet than in the qualifying sessions, so it's going to be interesting to see. It's still raining a bit, however, so we will have to see the line. Obviously, the racer, being there for an hour, the race being an hour long. The dry line is gonna form throughout the race, so it's gonna be interesting to see if these drivers decide to start the race on wet tires, or if they decide to start on normal dry tires, or if they're gonna start on wet tires and switch it up for dry tires during the race during their pit stop. So that's gonna be very, very interesting to see their strategies here, as the track is gonna surely dry up probably during the race, as the formation lap is starting at the moment. We see Jonathan Boivin getting off the line. Yeah, so it's gonna be a strategy battle here, and it's, well, not only that, but it's gonna be a race of, attrition race. Gotta need to keep it on the track, obviously, because even if it's less wet than during qualifying, it's still wet. So it's still slippery.
Yeah, those curves are going to be an absolute minefield. I mean, the thing is, again, as we've seen in the previous 2 races, you do not win the race on lap 1. If you have an incident earlier on in the race, we did see at Kota, track limit violations were a key deciding point we saw in the last 15 minutes of the race.
Remember at Kyalami as well?
Yeah, but it was worse at Kota. It was worse at Kota, especially through the latter sections, like turns 15 to 20. Drivers were getting pinged for track limits, and we saw multiple of them getting that 4th all-important track cut, and then straight away that is a drive-through penalty. The drivers also have to be very wary of that. Speeding the pit lane, which I think a couple of people got caught out with at Kota and at Kyalami. If you speed in the pit lane, you get a stop-go 30, and that is going to really hurt your race, because you've got to do a mandatory pit stop, and you've also got to do that stop-go 30, which you have to serve within a certain amount of time, 3 laps. But tonight, it's a different proposition, because this will mark the halfway point of the season. For those wondering about the rest of the calendar, October 25th, we go to the Glen for round 4. Then it's the home of British Motorsport on November 8th at Silverstone. And then we go to Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the 22nd of November for the 6th and final round of the respective Pro and Silver Championships. Folks, those wondering about the Split 2, there will be a highlights package, as always, here on EGT Canada, where we'll give you a roundup of what happened with the respective drivers in the second split. But with every single of the first split, every single race, we will have live coverage all the way through the season, and it's a pleasure to have you all with us once again. Don't forget to show your support on the respective Facebook and YouTube live streams that are coming, that are underway, as we're getting set for 60 minutes of racing here at the Hungaroring. So, Labrec, the pro points leader, not here tonight, which could give the opportunity. Like Boivin, Fournier, Baisden, Landry, Boulanger and Dubé, as they are about to come out of turn number 13. Dubé now will start to hopefully line up very shortly alongside Jonathan Boivin, who will lead them from pole. François Lapointe in 11th place in the 448 Honda will lead the silver classification, having taken pole for this one. Right, folks, 60 minutes on the timer. Lights are about to go from red to green, and once that happens, we are underway, and it's about the run down to turn 1. So green flag waves, we're underway, and Dubé already into the slipstream of Boivin as they run down to turn 2. Landry and Baisden side by side, and now Dubé looking for a possible look up the inside into turn 1, but he's going to take the tight and neat apex. Boivin runs a little bit wide through turn 1, now through into turn 1A for the first time. Boivin will have the inside run for turn number 2. We have had an incident a little further back involving cars 34 and 60. They all make their way through into turn 2, now into the right-hander here at 3, and now this is the chance for Boivin to put the power down. He's already got 3 or 4 kart lengths ahead of Dubé as Landry has fallen behind Baisden. Grenier looks to have had a possible drive-through infringement for the start phase, but whether that might be rescinded very shortly, that can sometimes happen. But with just a minute completed out of this 60-minute race, a lot of them, there's been a few more incidents behind. I've just seen David Boulanger in the number 22, one of the cars affected. Cloutier, I believe, is another one that's also been affected as well. So quite a few incidents, and there we go, Danny Kvelet sideways in the well, that was actually
that was Racine. That was Kevin Racine.
Racine, who has gone up a couple of positions in the meantime. Racine started 16th, so got a great start in the Bentley, already up into 11th place. As Lapointe has been overtaken by Danny Kvelet for the silver class lead.
Yeah, Racine going down the inside, great move, but lost control on the exit. Incredible save. He drifted through about 2 corners and maintained the car on the track, so well done to him, and he's putting pressure now on Trépanier as we have a bit of a gap for the first place. Boivin already a second up, and now it's Fournier under pressure by Michaud. It's gonna be side by side into turn 1. Michaud on the inside. Is Fournier gonna get more traction on the outside? No, I believe Michaud's gonna get the place, and now it's gonna give an opportunity to Mador to put pressure on Fournier. He's going to be on the outside for the next corner. So Fournier has the inside line, and he's going to be able to maintain the position. Great battling between those 3. Oh, Mador is still on the inside, however, so they're still side by side going to the kink. Mador still putting some pressure on Fournier. Fournier, great defending, however, is gonna keep 7th. Great start of the race right now, very clean, and it's gonna bring Formato back into the mix. Formato and Mador like battling out as we've seen it in Coda, and that's not gonna change here with Fournier leading the train right now. So it's Boivin, Dubé, Baisden, Landry, and Bourdon running out of top 5 after our start.
Mador's still putting the pressure on. You can see how much Patrick Fournier is using the handling advantage that the Porsche has and the twisty stuff, but on the straight lines, Mador has the pace advantage in that naturally aspirated 5.2 litre V10 Audi as Mador clips the curbs through turn 12, nearly goes sideways to the left, loses a little bit of time to Fournier, but able, and now he drifts wide. That's going to allow Formato in the number 200 Porsche not too far behind to get a gain of an opportunity through turn 13 as we've got a multi-car incident through turn number 13. There were 2 cars stricken on the outside.
Yeah, that's Lapointe.
And I was going to say Alary, I think, might have been involved in that one as well. He's had an incident too. So Lapointe, who was on pole position, now brings the car in. That's going to be damage. Yeah,
we'll have
that's
to
going to be
see
damage.
What happened to these guys if I'm able to find it.
But we'll keep our eyes on this battle here. This is a great battle because Shaw's just ahead in the 497 BMW. got a little bit of a gap between himself and Fournier, which is about 9/10 of a second. They're on the run up towards the left-hand kink here at turn 4, which has a little bit of a deceptive right-hand side kink going into the left, but into this hairpin. As all, Michaud has just lost it and has just dropped 4 positions at the drop of a hat, and that BMW is still squirreling around and is going to lose more places. That's Turpagnier and Bélanger going through, and so he just lost it. He just lost it coming into turn 5. I think maybe a bit too aggressive on the throttle modulation there. Probably thought, oh yeah, I can get around that corner, and the
grid just went.
Decided, yeah, that's one of the things here in these tricky wet weather conditions. Even with the track being damp, it's not evolving too much. But you now can see that Kevin Racin right on the back of Michael Formato for 8th position overall. So
great camera angle right here.
Oh, I love the helicam shot. I love the helicam shot. You can really get an idea of how close these drivers are.
And this battle between Médard and Fournier is benefiting Racine. He's bringing back into the battle, and both Fournier and Racine are in Team GTCQ. Remember, with the Colton livery, very distinctable livery, and as Fournier helped his teammate right here, and Racine is right on Formato. As we see, I believe that's Lapointe coming out of the pits. It's gonna hamper these drivers. Ooh, that was very, very close with Racine as Fournier goes wide into turn 1, and Médard takes the position. So Médard is now in 6th place, goes a bit wide into turn 2, but he's gonna remain the position, keep the position. Wow, what great action here, and that was very, very close with Lapointe coming out of the pits.
Yeah, there's been some developments up and down the order I'm spotting here, Nathaniel. In the 63 was showing, according to the timing, stuck on turn T1A. Might have called it a day in the number 63 Mercedes, so that car might have been one of the cars that we saw earlier on, stricken on the outskirts of turn number 1. But that's a real shame. Thibaudot's all the way down in 32nd position, but Danick Verlet has got a battle on his hands because look who's behind. Jeremy Schneider, Tommy Landry, Mathieu Prudhomme, and Johan Morancy rounding out the top 5, and then also Jean-Luc Marchand. I mean, you can see that the gaps between them, no point is it more than 1.1 seconds, but Danick Verlet looking to get his first victory of the season, picked up P2 last time out at Kota, and really has brought himself into the championship fight. He's currently P4 at the moment on 26 points, so this could help him no end with the likes of Deloitte not here with the steering wheel issue. So now someone's gone wide. Someone has gone very wide. That is a Honda that's now peeling into pit lane.
That's not Lapointe.
No, that was probably the black Honda that we saw a little bit earlier on. That is more than likely Trepagnier.
Yeah, that's Trepagnier.
Still staying on piste, not off piste like it was in qualifying, but Danick Verlet, as it looks like it's going to be a move for 2nd place. Tommy Landry up the inside of Jeremy Schneider through turn 1. Bentley gets the traction down on the McLaren, and through the corner he goes. Takes 2nd in the silver class, but Morancy keeping around the outside of Jean-Luc Marchand. Marchand back up the inside. Keep your eyes on General He's not too far behind as they go through turn 3. That was very close between the Lexus and the BMW their line. And this is going to be up towards turn number 4. Who's going to break latest of all? Well, Morancy keeps ahead of Marchand in what is the battle for P5. General de Guise has 6 silver cars in front of him in the next pro car, which is Michaud, who's recovering from that earlier spin at turn 5 a couple of laps ago. But Morancy just using the curbing and using the sausage curbing without hopefully invoking the track cuts that these drivers will then see on their heads-up display on their sim rigs. But Morancy doing a great job to keeping Jean-Luc Marchand behind for 5th place in silver.
As we're with Bélanger now up into 9th place with, it's Formato that dropped down 2 places, I think. Yeah, Racine and Bélanger have gone. That's Formato, so something has happened to Formato here. Sitting in 10th place as we see the Honda of Lapointe right behind. So Formato, yeah, that really did benefit Racine, as I was saying. And now both teammates are gonna be battling out now with 7th. Are we gonna see some team orders? I don't believe so. These two are gonna battle it out for 7th. And as Racine goes down the inside, he peeks his nose, but a great line by Fournier on the outside. Oh, goes way too wide, however. And Racine is gonna take the place. It's not gonna be too feisty.
Did you see what was happening behind as they went into turn 1? The amount of cars I saw from Formato, Michaud, Vallée, Landry, all trying to break the toe of the cars behind. That's how long this straightaway here is at the Hungaroring. It is absolutely critical to have a great slipstream going into turn 1. But as we saw just then, you go a bit hot into T1 and you need to hold on to the brakes. Prudhomme now looking for he's now looking for the move. This is on the run up to turn 4. Schneider defends, goes on the curbing. Prudhomme runs wide. That is a definitive track cut. Schneider keeps in front.
Very close with the Porsche of Morancy.
Morancy nearly went up the back end of Prudhomme, and that's allowed Jean-Luc Marchand to get through, and the Lexus is ahead. So that's another change that's P5 in the silver class. So great anticipation there by Jean-Luc Marchand to get through on Morancy for the 194 Steakhouse Racing Porsche. But it just goes to show that around a circuit like this, you've really got to have your wits about you. You know, your eyeballs are on stalk. Every single one of your 6 senses are being pretty much assaulted in the sim racing vernacular, that is. But with the rain still coming down, I mean, the way things are going, unless the track temperature decides to skyrocket, I think we could be in for this for the long haul, because you can see on the top right hand corner of the screen, folks, the next half an hour is predicted to still have some kind of rainfall. So I don't think unless someone wants to do the ultimate Jensen Button crossover like he did at the Grand Prix in Montreal in 2011, where Sebastian Vettel lost the back end of the Red Bull on the final lap. Now we got more battling away, with Formato has got Michaud looking up the inside, and that was Lapointe that was just getting out of the way. Good spatial awareness there from the 488, but Formato and Michaud battling for 10th place overall.
We saw Prudhomme coming back on the track after going way wide, and that compromised heavily Morancy, that had to put on the brakes. So you have to really be aware of your surrounding, you really gotta be concentrated, because otherwise it might be an accident waiting for you around next corner if you're not careful. So unfortunately that compromised Morancy and lost a couple of places, but it's better than, you know, losing the race, losing your car and losing the race. So
I'm sorry to cut across here, Nathaniel, but Prudhomme, I just noticed, has dropped outside of the top 10.
Yeah.
He's behind Jonathan Baudry, so what has happened to the 166 McLaren?
Yeah, well, I believe we're going to be... Yeah, he's been into an accident, I believe we're going to be able to see what happened here. As, so it's Jean-Luc Marchand just tagged the back of Prudhomme, and then giving him a nice tap on the back, and Généreux de Guise is in contact, but... That made him drop way more places. So that dropped in 2 places. You gotta wonder what happened after. But unfortunately, we're not gonna be able to see.
Maybe it's caused him to have a little bit of a slow couple of corners with the amount of cars that were going past. I would think they probably would have rifled past him. But Baudry, Jonathan Baudry, currently sitting 21st. There's another car that's going down pit road at the moment, but yeah, let's see if Jonathan Baudry in the 163 car, the Lexus LCF GT3, nice little V8 lump behind the hood of that car. And right, the car that's just gone into pit lane is the number 27, that is Saint Martin, that has just got into pit lane. Currently sitting in 23rd in terms of the overall classification, but is 11th. That's going to drop him past Ryan Grenier. Gagnon's just gone into the pits. Quite a few drivers opting to pit early, I think. That was a bit wide there from Baudry. Behind, I think that's Lacasse in front, isn't it? Sebastien Lacasse.
Yeah, it's Lacasse right in front. It's Jonathan Baudry putting on the pressure, and you have the other Baudry and the other Lexus right in front. So it's very interesting what's gonna happen here as Prudhomme's making his way back. Both these drivers cutting across, and Jonathan Baudry had to put on the brakes there to avoid running into the back of Lacasse, and Prudhomme is catching fast. He's right in the party as Baudry gets a bit loose on the curb. He got on that green turf, and yeah, that sent his car a bit sideways. Great car control to keep it on the track. However, yeah, this is gonna be a nice three-way battle here for yeah, that's 19th place. As yeah, Prudhomme is catching very fast, and not to forget, right behind it's Boucher and Alary. Alary wants to catch up the pack as well. As another three-way battle here, and that's been going on. We have Jean-Luc Marchand, I believe that's Jean-Luc Marchand with Schneider and Généré de Guise. Schneider leading the pack there, Marchand pointing his nose down the inside. It's not even quite close enough, however, yeah, Schneider gives him the space, and that's gonna give Marchand a chance to have a great run for turn 2. Tries to go down the inside, Schneider covers it up. Great defending by Schneider here, as Généré de Guise is waiting patiently behind to capitalize on anything that might happen between these two drivers. Very, very close as we're on the round down to turn 4 on the kink. And Schneider gets loose and he loses the car. He spins.
That curbing. It was that curbing that unsettled that McLaren, and that's brought out the yellow flag, and Schneider's going to drop like a stone into a pond. We're just going to see it here. Goes on the curbing, goes through the next corner, back end steps out to the right, tank slapper, and 180, well 270, actually I think a 360 that Ken Block might have been very, very proud of, but unfortunately for Jeremy Schneider, that has put him outside of the top 10, and again drama strikes. But the good thing is it's happened early, but we go to this battle. This is for second and third overall with Laurence Doubet and Danny Baisden. So Bentley versus Ferrari. The Bentley looks a little bit more planted in these wet weather conditions because Doubet at one point was over 1.2 seconds ahead, but Baisden last time around went nearly 0.3 of a second quicker, and he made a lot of that time through sector 1. So the Bentley seems, you can just see that Ferrari, Doubet's just having to be so tentative on that throttle. He can't make he can't make a mistake, because he knows for a matter of fact that if he makes a mistake, Baisden will be through quickly, and they're going through turn 4. You can see that Ferrari has the legs on the Bentley, but the Bentley seems a lot more stable in the corners, Nathaniel. That's what I'm sensing here.
Yeah, it's a very balanced car. I must say, the Bentley, and so that's gonna help him a bit in these conditions. However, it's obviously it obviously weighs a lot. It's incredibly heavy car, so you gotta be careful with that. Obviously, to not put strains on the tires. But in these conditions, it seems stable, as you said. And Baisden still keeping under pressure on Doubet catching up. Well, he fell down a bit during this lap, but yeah, as he goes wide around here, yeah, he's gonna want that second place. Doubet running again a great race, sitting in the second place in the standings, the championship standings, I believe, and yeah, sitting in second place in this race as well. As we have a yellow flag, it's Guillaume Métard. I don't wonder what happened to him.
And who's that behind? Well, we're going to see. This is going to be through into turn 13, and he just goes wide, back end steps out. He saves it, has no one to worry about immediately behind. That was through turn number 13.
Yeah, that's Racine coming behind in the Bentley.
Racine's done a great job. I mean, Racine started 16th. He's now up 9 places. Another yellow flag out on the circuit. Right, okay. Just noticed that Lacasse is serving a stop-go 30. I wonder if that was that speeding in the pit lane I think I was talking about earlier. Someone's got caught out early.
things have gone bad to worse for him, and yeah, he's not gonna be happy about it, I'm sure. But yeah, it's very hard to take as a driver when you get a penalty like that, because it's, you know, it's stop and go. You have to come in the pits, stop at your pit box for 30 seconds, and then you go. So you lose an incredible amount of time, and you're pretty much right at the back of the pack, or even further. So it's you know, it absolutely destroys your motivation as a driver, and in a 1 hour race like that, there's next to no chance you recover. So it's very hard to take it as a driver. So but yeah, that's just how racing goes, as Grenier crashes out and goes into the pits, and gets towed into the pits. So something has happened to Grenier. Don't know if we're gonna be able to see what happened to him. To take him out of the race, I believe that's gotta be a retirement for him. Oof, just go straight on. And on the exit, he doesn't tap the wall. I believe he just, yeah, that's just gonna be it for him. He went straight on and lost the car, and yeah, as we have another yellow flag. So as the tires are starting to come down, yeah, this replay's taking a lot of time. As the tires are starting to be worn a bit, in these conditions, the drivers are gonna start to get caught out a bit, and it's Formato that was involved with the yellow flag, and Formato is now down to 14th position. So not a great first half of the race for him. He was sitting, and I believe he was sitting in 8th earlier on, and now he's down to 14th. So unfortunate for him, as Marc-Antoine Landry is under pressure from Adrien Bourdon right now for 4th place. Bourdon a 10th quicker in his last lap, but he, yeah, following very closely Marc-Antoine Landry here, as Landry gets away, gets a little bit away in the chicane. Yeah, he's gonna be under pressure, and 38 minutes left in this session is gonna be hard to resist at the Bentley. However, it is very hard to pass on this track, we must say, and in these conditions, it's another difficulty that's added to it. But Marc-Antoine Landry is running a great race in 4th, and I'm sure he wants to keep that 4th place, as Bourdon is right behind him, and now we're gonna be coming to turn 14 to the last corner, and that's gonna give Bourdon the chance, if he gets a great exit there, to be in the slipstream. However, I believe Marc-Antoine Landry had a great exit here, and so Bourdon's not gonna be able to pass him right here, as yeah, he remains in 4th place for now. As Dubé is under pressure again from Bazin. Bazin has caught back up to Dubé, so they're both running in similar pace right now. But we'll have to see. Still 36 minutes left at Ferrari. If Dubé's tires are going off a bit, that could prove crucial in this in this battle, as we've seen in the chicane. The Ferrari Dubé going a tad sideways there, so that's not gonna help the tires for sure. As yeah, Bazin, both the Bentleys right now are very present, very well in this race. We have Bazin, Bourdon, we have yeah, I believe it's 5 Bentley in the top 10, so it's the Bentley's obviously very strong currently in these conditions at this track, and it's a great race right now that they're putting on. Their drivers are putting on great performances, and then as yeah, Basin's just very close to Dubé, isn't he? As putting on the pressure on Dubé. Right now, Dubé wants to break off that slipstream. He's blocking the inside. Goes a bit wide, though. That's going to give Bazin the opportunity to try the cutback. And it's going to work. The power of the Bentley is going to be side-by-side going down into turn 2. Bazin on the outside. They touch going into turn 2. Door-to-door banging. And Dubé is going to keep the position right here. Great defending by Dubé. And he gets tagged. Is he going to keep the car? Yes, he is. Oh my goodness! And there's still gonna be side by side now going into turn 4, but Bazin is gonna give the position to Dubé here. Great battle, and that was, wow, very great car control from Dubé right here. You know, they bang doors coming into turn 2, and Bazin with the outside line tried to take him. Unfortunately didn't work, but yeah, that was very, very close, and Bazin's putting so much pressure right now on Dubé. He wants to get that second place. He wants to get the second place on the podium as Dubé goes right wide round here, but the gap has formed a little bit as now things have calmed down a bit. We're gonna see what happened in the multi-car contact at the start of the race with Lapointe that was involved. That's during lap 2, I believe. So coming around next, the final section, yeah, Lapointe just gets tagged. It's the number 90. He just gets tagged by Alary there, and yeah, that was his race for him. Unfortunately, as we have a yellow flag, it's Marchand. And yeah, that's gotta be it for Marchand, I believe. Jean-Luc Marchand is, yeah, that's gotta be a DNF for Marchand. Wow.
That's a pretty big development. Apologies there, I had some slight internet dramas here partway through, so I've just had to reboot the router, so apologies. I'm now back with you, Nathaniel, so don't worry, panic over, you don't need the defibrillator.
I'm fine. We've been enjoying some great battles during, like, Bazin and Dubé banging doors and slide contact in this very corner turn for the last lap. These two have been putting on a great battle, but that's them battling is benefiting Boivin heavily. Boivin has built an 11-second gap now to the second place to Dubé. So Boivin, again, he's incredibly quick. Right now, he's running into the 151s. Dubé's running into 154s. So that's 3 seconds quicker. And during his last lap than Dubé. So it's just a great great showing here by Boivin in the third round, picking off right where he left off in round 1. And
well, he doesn't really need to. He's got no real pressure because, I mean, I'm looking at the fastest lap times and they're actually from Boivin. His fastest lap so far, get this, his qualifying lap time was in the 151s. He put in a 1 minute 50.590. And that was about 20 minutes ago. So this driver's got the real measure of the conditions as we've got Untitled battling away. Is that?
Ooh, yeah, that's Medal.
Oh, what a time to lose it! Just
yeah, in the last corner. What happened there? We're gonna see.
Well, you can see the battle up in front. He's just lost it. He's just lost it. The back end just stepped out. Tank slapper. Oh, dearie me.
What a weird incident that was. He just lost it and went a bit wide into the hairpin, and he just lost that.
I did say eyeballs on stalks, and of course Medor, that's dropped him behind Boulanger and Fournier, and drops him down to 9th overall. So yeah, that's not been... This race hasn't been kind to Guillaume Medor at the moment, I'm afraid.
No, it's same as Coda, where he picked up 8 penalty, unfortunately, while pushing to get pressure on Landry at Coda. And now to push and to put pressure on Bourdon, who's battling Landry again. Medal lost that, so unfortunate. But I'm sure Medal will be able to come back. Right now, he's been having some great pace in this race as Martin lets those two through with no hampering them. Marc-Antoine Landry is still resisting the pressure from Bourdon here as we're getting to the halfway point of this race. So we're near the 30-minute mark, and you know what that means. The pit stops are gonna start coming for some of these drivers. As we've seen during this season, the front runners prefer to wait until the end, so the last 10 minutes, to make their pit stops. We don't know if it's gonna be the same thing here, however, because of the rain. But according to the season, the front runners have been waiting till the last minute to make their pit stops, and the midfield and the last drivers have been putting their pit stops in more early, as we had a yellow flag. It's David Belanger, and he's in the pit lane. We've got to wonder what happened. I had a yellow flag out for him, but anyway, he's in the pits now, so anything that happened for him will be repaired if he decides to repair his car. Yeah, Landry's still resisting the pressure here.
And how long can he actually keep that? How long can that pressure be kept up? That's the key point. If he can keep that pressure on, Landry's going to make a mistake. Not that he would want to, of course. However, that just depends on how quickly Landry tries to scarper off into the distance. That's one big thing that these drivers have to watch out for all the way through the course of the race itself, because they don't want to make a mistake, especially with the way that this circuit can be an absolute minefield for these drivers, as we see Jonathan Baudry and Mathieu Prudhomme now battling away over what's third place in the silver class. Great run by Prudhomme through turn 5 as they go into turns 6 and 7, the ultra tight chicane here, where there's minimal room for overtaking opportunities, but then there's a brief run through into the left-hander here at turn 8. So you can just see how much more planted that McLaren appears to be in comparison with the Lexus so far, Nathaniel.
Prudhomme unfortunately had an incident earlier on, but now he seems to be catching back up, and he's running currently in the 4th place of the silver category, and putting pressure on Baudry, who's sitting in 3rd place. The other Baudry, it's Max Baudry, has gone down a few places during these last few laps, now sitting in 15th. So Jonathan Baudry now is leading that pack from Prudhomme in 13th place. Landry and Valet are the front runners for your silver category. Tony Landry is in 1st place with Valet in 2nd place. But yeah, Prudhomme is putting in some great laps right now to try and catch back up to the pack and get a podium places and get a podium result for him, even though he was involved in an incident earlier on. Racine is catching back up to those two battling, as Bourdon has gone past Landry, and Racine is looking to do the same thing right here. Gotta wonder if Bourdon is gonna be able to pull away from Landry and how fast it's gonna take. But all this battling has brought back Kevin Racine back into the mix, and you gotta wonder now if any of them is gonna decide to take an early pit stop to try and get an overcut or an undercut, should I say, on the others. But yeah, Racine was 6 tenths quicker than Landry during his last lap, and now he's gonna have the tow during the start-finish straight on Landry. He's not be quick enough though to make a move.
Well, that depends on, again, what I said with regards to pressure, and that is what can be crucial. Racine has started down in 16th position, folks. He's now up 10 places. This has been, I think, for me, one of the drives of the season so far. Racine is in his element. Landry I don't know how far those tyres have gone on the Lamborghini, but the pace that the Bentley has shown in comparison with the other cars, you can see there Landry just took a wallop of curb a bit too much there through turn 4. That's going to allow Hassan to close through this turn 5 right-hand hairpin. And now we get this wonderful onboard shot from the roof cam of the Lamborghini, and look how much closer, how much more confident Hassan
Landry
is.
took the curb.
I did say it'll be a case of making a mistake, and up the inside, there goes Hassan, door handle to door handle with Landry. Now this is into the next right-hander. This will be turn number 9, and Hassan is through up into 5th place. 11 positions gained in just over 35 minutes. And I'm just having a look. I think Hassan, we're going to see a replay of this again. Now this is into turns 5 and 6. Look at the bump over the curbs. And he takes a bit too much curbing as Landry through turn 6, through what would have been turn 7, through 8. And Hassan's just got the confidence, complete confidence in that Bentley Continental GT3 round the outside of all places, turn 9. And that's a place you don't normally see overtaking, but in wet weather conditions, that Bentley has showed its prowess and its poise through those particular sets of corners. Well done, Kevin Hassan.
And we have 3 Bentleys now in the top 5. Bazin, Bourdon, and Racine. Very impressive. And Landry is not, doesn't want to let that place go, however. He's still putting some pressure on Racine. Racine is not quite pulling away at the moment, but this has benefited Bourdon massively. He's pulled out a 1.5 second gap to Racine right now, but Landry still wants that 5th place back, and we'll have to see if he manages to do it, as we have a little train of cars right here for 16th, for 15th place. Michaud is leading it with Roy, and that's Merci is diving into the pits, so he's gonna make his pit stops right now. Trépanier is catching back, as yeah, he's already made those pit stops. He's made it early. We have a yellow flag out on the track. It's François Lapointe, and he's lost it.
Our pole sitter again in strife, and he just loses it. He just lost the back end, and the Honda goes sideways. Well held there. Had to hold the brakes and wait, and then spins up the rear tyres backwards. But also, you were saying about got 3 Bentleys in the top 5. Look at the car that's now leading. Jeremy Schneider's got a drive-through. That's for track limits, I fear. But Tommy Landry in the 917 is now leading the silver class in the Bentley. He's done a fantastic job so far. He's about 13 seconds up the road from Danny Cavalier, who's on course for another 2nd place finish after finishing in P2 back at Cota, and Landry just doing a stellar job. Now, where did Tommy Landry start in? Well, he started in around about 22nd position overall, so along with Kevin Hassan, he's one of the biggest movers up the grid as blue flags being waved to the number 10 car. There's Gagnon, who's, well, inadvertently gone a bit too wide and might have picked up a track cut through turn 1 in the process.
Would be unfortunate, as he just wanted to let Landry pass, I believe. Want to take an advantage there, but you know, track limits are cruel around here, and we're on pretty much every track. As we see Landry, great car control to keep that car on the track. He just took a bit too much curb there and nearly lost the car, but that's incredible control to keep it on the track there, not lose it, because that was at high speed as well. You know, you coming back from turn 3, it's a high-speed part of the track, and yeah, it's very hard to keep it under control at those speeds. So well done to him, and yeah, it's now 14.7 seconds in front of Valet in 2nd place. So a great drive by him. As just further down the road for 7th place, Fournier is under pressure by Guillaume Mador. Obviously went wide earlier, and lost places, but now he's looking to make up those places. And Fournier.
Yeah. As long as he doesn't keep on going sideways like he just did through turn 13. I mean, we saw through the final corner a few laps ago that he ended up losing the back end of the Audi coming through turn number 14. At least there is a little bit of damage on that rear wing, but it's not causing too much of an issue for Guillaume Mador, because that pace of that Audi has just been absolutely biblical over the past few laps or so. So he's managed to get that car going again and up to full racing speed. But there's no real spray now for the drivers to worry about. Not as significant as it would be if we had a full wet track, where your visibility would be at an absolute premium and then some. But Mador is just getting on with business and just closing in on Fournier. And Fournier is probably going to think, what have I got to do to shake this Audi off my tail? As they're about to go into turn number 4 at high speed, as Mador loses the back end a little bit, manages to keep it under control. He's right behind Patrick Fournier going through turn 5. So the Audi on the straight lines, like I said earlier on, Nathaniel, has got the run on the Porsche in terms of flat out speed, but Mador's got to be very careful with that curbing, especially going into turn 6.
Yeah, Fournier went wide a bit at the same time that Mador lost some grip, but yeah, these two drivers are pushing like hell right now to one to get the place and one to keep the place, and they both use, well, they both went out of the track there. I wonder if it's a track cut or these drivers have found something, but because both of them did it, both of them went out of the track at the same place, using the curb massively there on the exit. As I thought Fournier was gonna pull in the pits there, it seemed like it, but no, he's continuing on. Yeah, you gotta wonder how much time it'll take for Mador to get past, if he gets past, if you know, is Fournier gonna be able to well, we might see it here as Mador dives down the inside. He was a long way back and he touches Fournier, and Fournier loses it and he spins again. Oh no, and Mador is gonna wait for Fournier to come by to avoid getting a penalty, but that was yeah, we're gonna see it again here.
Yep, so they're coming down the run into turn number 1, so Mador gets the drag going into T1, makes the move up the inside of Fournier. There's the first incident tap, so Mador stays behind. Fournier rejoins. Now, Fournier had to come back onto the circuit, but now Mador is doing the what we know as modern-day chivalry in terms of sim racing, and basically says to Patrick, "Hey, sorry, my bad. I'll let you go back through. We'll go at it again." But Mador's got to keep himself. He's going to be under the watchful eye of the race directors, and that's never a good thing when you have one incident where he did dive bomb up the inside of Fournier, and there's going to be an inevitable bit of touching between the two cars. But he did the right thing. He let Fournier back through, and now it's ding ding, seconds out, round however many you want to call it.
Yeah, Fournier just lost it there after the initial contact. He went into that green turf, and on the exit he lost it a bit and touched Mador again, and he spun. But fortunately for both of them, they don't lose any places. So right behind them is Martin and Schneider that are battling out for 24th. So that's right in front of them. But fortunately, they had enough of a gap to 9th place, to Danik Valet. I must say, where is Tommy Landry? He's down in 14th place. He's made his pit stop, so yeah, that's what happened to him. He made his pit stop, so came back in 4th place. But obviously, Baudry, Prudhomme, and Valet are gonna have to make theirs as well. 16 minutes left to this race.
As you say that, Nathaniel, Jonathan Baudry has come into pit lane, so we'll lose the position in the silver class to Tommy Landry, but then it's all dependent on Now, you might remember that we did have it where other drivers, and I think it was also the case with Patrick Fournier on the opening race, where he forgot to disengage the automatic damage repair.
Yeah, that was Valet, I believe.
Oh, that was Valet.
That was Valet. Last race.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Patrick actually got, DNF quite early at Kyle Army. So it was Danik Valet who was on course for a top 3, and he just had that massive moment where, just like, I forgot to just deactivate the automatic damage repair. I was like,
that cost him the win. That cost him the win, Valet. Yeah. He was leading the silver class, and because he had about 8 seconds of damage, but it wasn't really enough to affect his pace. But obviously, 8 seconds more in the pits, it's gonna change. You're gonna lose position. You're gonna lose time, and he lost about 3 positions. He managed to get back to you, but still finished in 2nd place. But now Valet is looking to get another 2nd place finish here. At the Hungaroring, as Bélanger has made his pit stop and is behind Baudry. That's very interesting. We had a yellow flag right before Bélanger made his pit stop. We've had a yellow flag involved with him, so you gotta wonder how much time he lost there. As Baudry goes wide, and Baudry has a drive-through. Yeah, so Baudry went wide and took a drive-through penalty along with it as Bélanger gets past. Baudry doesn't fight it too much, obviously, because there's no point with the drive-through.
And also they're not battling for class. I mean, Bélanger's in the pro class. Baudry, who's going to lose out on a top 3 finish, I'm very much guaranteeing on that.
Unfortunate.
But you've then got to look at where Danik Valet and Mathieu Prudhomme are at the moment. They're 9th and 11th respectively, leading the class. But Landry will have an opportunity to close on it. I mean, Baudry, I think, has already jumped into the pits. The minute he got that drive-through, they thought, right, I need to get that out of the way early. He is in pit lane. He will serve that drive-through. And hopefully there's no insult to injury. As long as there is no stop-go 30 for speeding in the pit lane, which is, I definitely know for a fact that a certain Jonathan Baudry will not want to have in this latter stage of the race. I mean, if you can claw something back, but then you look at the amount of drivers in the silver class that have already taken their pit stops. Tommy Landry, Stéphane Thibodeau, Max Baudry, Johan Morancy. They've all taken their pit stops. As Patrick Fournier has started to pull a gap on Guillaume Mador, who's now got Danny Baisden closing in. Baisden's already done his pit stop. Mador is yet to do his. And looking at it from this perspective here, Nathaniel, 10 of the top 11 drivers have yet to do their mandatory pit stop, as Mador has a wobble.
What happened there?
I think those tyres have gone off on that Audi. He's had multiple moments where, now even on like simulations such as Assetto Corsa Competizione, what you're going to find is that if you have too many moments like Mador has already had today, especially coming out of turn 14 earlier on, those tyres will end up getting the sim racing equivalent of possibly a flat spot. And if that car's not handling right, then I think Mador is going to be in danger of losing all manner of traction on that car, because Baisden has got a good run closing in on Fournier at the moment for what is effectively 6th position.
Yeah, Bélanger has gone past Thibodeau on turn 13. So Bélanger is making his way through the silver category drivers. Now he's got Formato in front of him. He's 1.6 seconds in front, so Bélanger is going to want to come back up, obviously, but Baisden's still putting the pressure, as he said, on Fournier. Fournier has been leading a train for, the majority of this race. He's been leading a train, and he's been doing it well, still sitting in 6th place, as, Racine in 4th place, and, just a great performance, as Laurence Dubé is in the pits, as is Marc-Antoine Landry. So
Boivin already pitted and is out.
Yeah, and he's
Well, he's away. He's a country mile up the road from Joubert, about 20 seconds at the moment as things stand, as we're heading into the final 6 of this race. So at the moment, your top 5 respective drivers in the respective classes. So it's Jonathan Boivin, Laurence Toubé, Adrien Bourdon, Kevin Rassin doing a great drive. Well, who's now up into P3 effectively, but has yet to take his mandatory pit stop. You've got Marc-Antoine Landry running at the top 5 in the pro class. It's Mathieu Prudhomme who now leads, as Danny Cavalier is in the pits for his mandatory pit stop. So Prudhomme leads the silver class ahead of Vallier. Tommy Landry, having already done his pit stop, currently running at the P3.
And
13th position.
He's got to be well clear of Valet, who's just coming around the pits right now, so he's gonna take that position. As we've had a bit of a battle for first place right now, with Boivin having done his pit stops and Bourdon not having done his. They were running very close, but yeah. And that's Medov again.
Oi.
Oof. Yeah,
now, I'm wondering, has he hit the barriers? I mean, that was a massive off, and that was coming out of turns 5 and 6 and 7. Well, he's going through turn 5, lines it up, squirts on the throttle. Now heading into turn 6. Is it this curbing that we are going to see unsettling the Audi? He goes wide, again on. Oh, and
he's kept it out though.
He is the luckiest driver tonight. He has not hit the barriers once when going off track. I think the rear end got a little bit of a touch when he went off at turn 14, but Medor has been like the Audi driver that's effectively become a black cat with 9 lives, and he's used at least 5 of them tonight.
Landry made his pit stop and wants to get past Généreux de Guise as quickly as possible. Généreux de Guise is going to make that easy for him. He dives down into the pits. It was very, very close to the BMW. It was Marc-Antoine Landry, as Prudhomme is also close behind. Prudhomme hasn't done his pit stop yet. As down the grid, well, we have a drive-through. It's Jonathan Baudry. Well, he's just in the pits right now. 3 laps down, I believe he retired. So he had his drive-through and in his pit box. So I believe retired. So that's unfortunate. That's a lot of damage on that Porsche for Johan Merci. His front end is taken quite a battering. Quite a beating, quite a battering, yeah.
It's like he's been thrown into the UFC with Paddy the Baddy Pimblett, and Morancy's come off worse. Guillaume Medor has just got a stop-go 30, and he's just served his pit stop as well. So Medor, insult to injury, as if the on-track moments were bad enough for Guillaume Medor. He gets a stop-go 30.
What?
So that's not exactly the way that Guillaume Medor will want to finish his race, outside of the top 5 overall.
And fortunate for Medor, just want to point out, what a great move by Boucher there, getting past the stricken Porsche. That was great. Kept it side by side through turn 12 and through 14, and managed to get the position there. So great racecraft by Boucher. Obviously, that Porsche is going very slowly, and that's he's gonna have to give way to Dubé behind. As we see, Trépanier now is running quite a quiet race. He pitted early, very early as Trépanier, but now he's in 11th place, and has David Bélanger right behind him. There's still a couple of drivers. There's Prudhomme that's right now in the pits, and Bourdon and Hassan haven't made the pit stop yet. And Trépanier goes wide into turn 13, and that's gonna give Bélanger the inside line, and Bélanger is gonna take 11th right here. So Bélanger is coming. Is coming about. He's making his comeback right now after having that incident we didn't get to see, unfortunately. But yeah, he's making his way back up, and he's now in he's now in 10th as Prudhomme made his but that's Généreux de Guise, I believe. I don't know. He's now in 10th. That's what my standings show. As he goes wide here, very wide, but that's the line he takes in the rain. Maybe, we don't know. Different drivers, obviously, in these conditions take different lines here. As Bourdon and Racine still haven't made the pit stop. Quite a big gap between them. It's 3.5 seconds right now separating these two drivers. As we see the Bentley further down the road.
Yeah, and now with the fact that Prudhomme, I did notice that Prudhomme took his pit stop, and Tommy Landry now leading the silver class. Now, Tommy Landry only scored 2 points so far.
Ooh.
As Vallée and Prudhomme nearly get together. That was through turns 5 and 6. They're now going, well, 6 and 7. They're now going through turn 9, and there is Stéphane Thibodeau right with them. So Prudhomme has got a battle on his hands for, well, not just second, but also third and fourth. As it's been a good run for Stéphane Thibodeau this time, as Prudhomme goes very tight through turn 12. That was so tight, I don't think you could put an A4 piece of paper between the right-hand side wheels of Mathieu Prudhomme's McLaren and the apex of turn number 12. He literally just yeeted it onto the curbing, made it stick, rotated the car, and now is going to start hunting down Danick Vallée with just 4 minutes and 10 seconds still to go. Now, Hassan has yet to pit. What about Bourdon as well? I don't think either of them have pitted. They might need to do that on the next lap, though.
Yeah, as coming down to the last moments of this race here, 4 minutes left. What exciting race right now, and we're getting a great ending as well, as Vallée in second place in silver is under pressure by Prudhomme and Thibodeau. So that's for the second and third place in silver category. Thibodeau sitting in the fourth currently, and Baudry is further down the road, but that's gonna be a great battle till the end. Prudhomme is gonna want back. He's had that moment early on as Vallée goes very wide, lost grip a bit. That's gonna compromise Prudhomme a bit on the corner, but he still caught up very much to Vallée, and Vallée's gonna be very much under pressure here coming through the chicane. And as he hits the orange sausage curb here, and Prudhomme is right behind him.
Yeah, this is going to go right the way down to the wire. I've got a feeling in my bones here right now that Prudhomme is just putting the pressure onto Vallée. As still Bourdon and Racine yet to pit. They are currently, at the moment, making their way through. Well, I've just seen Boivin coming through turn 8, Bourdon coming through turn 7. There is Bourdon, and then Racine about to make his way through turns 6 and 7. So there is the 2-2-3 Bentley. Boulanger has a little bit of a wobble coming out of the final corner whilst battling away with Tommy Landry, who is effectively with just under 2.5 minutes to go. Still the silver class leader. This is not a battle for position per se, as that's a little bit wide from Vallée. Prudhomme's going to get the launch on him. Down the start, finish straight. They nearly have. Oh, they do have a little bit of a touch. That was a bit close for comfort. I think that nearly was a Code Brown moment for both drivers at that particular moment coming down the start, finish straight. But Vallée's going to keep it pinned to the outside. He's about a nose ahead, but Prudhomme up the inside. Who gets the power down best? It's Prudhomme. Prudhomme out of turn 1 gets a better launch out of the corner, just straightens it up, squirts on the throttle, and Vallée, the back end, I think, looked a little bit sketchy coming through turn 1, and now that's allowed Stéphane Thibodeau to close on in. So this battle for second position, very much not. So you're going to see this is through turn 14. So Vallée runs a little bit wider, tight on the apex goes Prudhomme, which has really served the McLaren well, and that's that 4-litre twin-turbo V8 pushing out over 700 Nm, 700 pounds-feet of torque. As with a minute and 20 still to go, both Bourdon and Racine are in the pit lane, but there is your race leader, who is on the penultimate lap, so we're going to be on lap number 32.
He's on the last lap, I believe. He's on the last lap, I believe.
Okay, well, he might be. Well, if that's the case, then after with 32 laps, it's going to be over 104, just north of 140 kilometers of racing completed by our race leader, with no Ismail Abrek here today. But it could be a bit close to the wire. We are going to, I mean, not too sure. I mean, if by that, I'm going to keep a close eye on this. This could end up being 33 laps because he's making his way through turn 11. But it could be very, very close indeed.
It's gonna be close. Racine has gone past Bourdon right now, so Racine in fourth. So and during their pit stops, yeah, he's gone past Bourdon. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to see the. Yeah, he's gonna go into the pits. There's Bourdon.
Oh, this is going to be close. Hang on a second. This is going to be close. We are 4 seconds away, and I think it is going to be checkered flag this time. 0, the clock does strike, and Boivin crosses the line. That's it. Checkered is out.
Yeah, that's a checkered flag.
Yep. It was going to be close. I think if it was like 45 seconds on the clock, I think we would have had another lap. But Jonathan Boivin, absolutely dominant, pole position. Fastest lap in the race, and also winning by a clear country mile, as Dubé takes second position in the pro class, 20.3 seconds behind. Third, it's going to be Danny Baisden from SOP Esports Racing in the Bentley. Then Kevin Rassin very shortly will. I'll keep an eye on where he is at the moment. He's just coming through turn 14 as dramas for Thibodeau in the dying stages on the last lap of the race. That was coming out of turn number 4. As Boivin's on his cooldown lap through turn 4. Just loses the back end, and the Candy Cane Honda NSX touches the barrier on the right rear. But it is going to be we're going to have a different winner again in the silver class, aren't we? Because I'm keeping my eyes on Tommy Landry, Marc-Antoine Landry behind Bourdon in. As Fournier taking 7th place. Michaud will take 8th, despite his moment earlier on. Boulanger, but out of the final corner, it's going to be a first win of the season for Tommy Landry. What a victory for the 917.
What a great race from Tommy Landry, coming all the way from the back of the pack to take the race, win 40 silver classes. Formato and Trépanier crosses the line. Prudhomme is going to take second here with Valet behind. What a great race we've seen here, as Thibodeau is lucky to not lose any places really from that spin, and is gonna come around the final corner now to take 4th place in silver category. So even with his moment, he's still gonna take a very positive result here. 50th overall and 4th in silver. That's, you can't be ashamed of that. Obviously, that's a very great result for Thibodeau, as Baudry, Max Baudry is in the pit lane. He's finished his race earlier, and 1 lap down, and is in 5th place for the silver category. So what a great race we've seen, and in this rain that hasn't let up, as you said. Yeah, the forecast we've had was correct. We've had rain throughout the whole race, and these drivers have, have given us a spectacle tonight. Given us some great battling, great action, and yeah. Boivin, we have to take off my hat for Jonathan Boivin. Just incredibly dominant today, taking fastest lap as well.
It's what we would call the Grand Chelem, pole position in time qualifying. So we're going to go through the results. So Jonathan Boivin, by 20.3 seconds, wraps up round 3 in the very, very damp Hungarian conditions here for the which now marks the halfway point of the season. So we've got 2 different winners in the pro class. The opening 2 rounds, Ismail Aprek winning both the Kyle Army and Kota, and the reigning champion overall, Jonathan Boivin from Season 5, takes the win here at round 3. Laurence Dubé, Danny Baisden, Kevin Rassin. Rassin, I think, having one of the best drives so far this season. Started 16th on the grid, finished P4, ahead of the number 54, Bourdon. Adrien Bourdon, Marc-Antoine Landry, no worries about fuel issues again for the second race in succession for the number 711 Lamborghini. Patrick Fournier, I think Patrick might be a little bit disappointed with the 7th place finish, but he had some great battles. with the likes of Guillaume Ador, who unfortunately dropped to 28th at the end of the race itself. But then we have to have a look at silver, though. You know, the silver finish.
Just want to
Tommy,
say, yeah, unfortunately for silver, Jean-Luc Marchand, who was having a great race, I believe he was in the top 5, his game crashed. So he's had some technical issue, his game crashed, so that's why he suddenly disappeared. So unfortunately for him, that's his DNF. That's what happened. Very unfortunate because he was running a great race and he was having some great battles as well, running in the top 5 of the silver category. Unfortunately, for him, he doesn't collect any point for that. So that's very unfortunate. Here we have our silver standing right here. So we have a different winner here. Tommy Landry, great race for him. You know, he was really far as.
Green light. Go.
Unfortunately, we've lost the.
Well, I mean, the good thing is I still have the timing up.
That's
I still
perfect.
have the timing up, thank goodness. So yeah, you know, when you think about it, yeah, Jean-Luc Marchand, that was a real shame. I mean, these things do happen. It's a bit like an engine blowing on the car, but you know, Tommy Landry now brings himself a bit further up. That's going to put him on 70 point, 40 onto that'll put him from 2 points to 27 points. But I think the biggest gainer out of this, and I think provisionally by my calculations, will be that Danny Kvele, who finished P3 in that race, will end up leading the standings because Morancy had a bit of a shocker in that one. It was a difficult one for Johan Morancy, but you know, at the end of the day, these things do happen. We also have to say a very, very big thank you to our friends at Porsche Centre Canada Quebec for their assistance. As always, a big thank you to Next Level Racing for their consistent assistance as well. But you know, the race itself, we started under torrential conditions, but the drivers, you know, we saw Boivin was in a country mile of his own, and the biggest thing was he could not be touched. No one could touch the number 99, and now I think the warning shot has been effectively fired across the front bump, the front hood of the one for Ismail Apek, because if we see them both next time out at round 4, which means we go back stateside for the second and third trips to the United States to Watkins Glen, fantastic circuit in its own right. It's going to provide some great action too on October 25th. I think we could have a really interesting dynamic in the championship standings, because now with Boivin's win, that's going to put him pretty close. I mean, Dubé, that's 20 points. So when you look at it this way, Labrec on 50, Dubé 20 points. That's 46 points, and then 1 point behind is going to be Boivin. And from that perspective, from what I think, we've got a championship battle for the overall title that no one is going to want to miss. And I know for a fact, Nathaniel, that is going to go all the way down to the wire, November 22nd at Indianapolis. But yeah, what a great race.
Nice.
We had some incidents, we had some accidents, but that's what weather brings to weather brings to a circuit such as the Hungaroring. Yeah, we'll see how things pan out for round 4 in a couple of weeks' time on October 25th.
Yeah, certainly don't want to miss that. It's gonna be a great race at Watkins Glen, and it's shaping up to be an incredible championship battles by 2 incredible Honda drivers, 2 incredibly quick drivers, and yeah, it's gonna be really great to see. I have the results right here. So we have Landry in first place in silver, Prudhomme in second, Valley in third, Thibodeau in fourth, Max Baudry in fifth, Bilodeau in sixth, Boucher in seventh, Loire in eighth, Morancy ninth, and Schneider, Jonathan Schneider, running up a top 10 for the silver category. So that was the Hungaroring third race of the season. Some great action we've had tonight. Some incredible battles under these harsh conditions, and they've made the best race we could have seen. What a great show they've put on for us again. So we want to thank these drivers, and as you said, thank our sponsors for because of them we are here tonight commentating on this series, this incredible series with EGT Canada. So see you in 2 weeks time. See you in 2 weeks time at Watkins Glen on the 25th of October for round 4 of the EGT3 challenge. See you also on Thursday in 2 days time on the 13th of October for the PECCQ, the Porsche Challenge, the Porsche Cup Challenge. That's gonna be a great race, very interesting race to see again. And we have some more action coming up next week. On Tuesday we have the TCR at the Trois-Rivières circuit, I believe.
Yep.
And after, on Thursday, we're gonna have the TCX. So be sure to not miss that. It's been a pleasure to have you all tonight. Come watch this great race, and yeah, thank you for having us, and have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Alex, for being there.
Yep, thank you, Nathaniel. So that's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching. It's here on the EGT Challenge TV YouTube channel, and also on the official EGT Canada Facebook page. It's Goodbye Hungaroring, where we go stateside in just 2 weeks, October 25th. Don't miss round 4 at Watkins Glen. Until then, good night for now.
Par l'aspiration, il devrait avoir l'avantage. On réussit, on se place à l'intérieur, on se
Quelle
touche!
course de son côté. On a été très patient.
Quelle lutte jusqu'à maintenant. Et là,
Alors qu'on a un accrochage ici, on va une sortie de piste.
on va tenter de croiser qui n'est pas le meilleur endroit pour dépasser. Oui! Incroyable!